I just got done with a 12-team fantasy football draft, but here's the catch. I let my followers make the picks for me. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are the draft results and draft grades for the Fantasy Football Throne League, where the followers make the picks to see which fantasy football community is the best. The best community is FantasyCouch. Everybody knows that. Let's go through each team, give them a grade, quick analysis. We had the 10th overall pick, and stay tuned for the very end, where I have a very special announcement for you. Let's start off with Team 1. Early QBs and a lot of rookie RBs. I gotta dock you for two things. Number one, you got 5 wide receivers, but really only 4 wide receivers, since DeAndre Hopkins is guaranteed to miss at least 6 games. On top of that, you're going to possibly have injuries, right? Every team has at least one injury. And on top of that, you're guaranteed to have some bye weeks. In a 3 wide receiver league that's full PPR, where you optimally want to start a wide receiver at flex, you only got 4 wide receivers. That's not good. Docking your points there. This is my boy Smitty's team. He's incredible at picking tight ends. He's incredible at picking breakout tight ends. But whenever I'm in a league with him, he never picks those tight ends for some reason. He always picks the crappy ones. I will knock off points for is Tyler Algier. Too many rookie running backs here, man, and not all of them are going to pan out. And Tyler Algier, I think he's even behind Damian Williams on the depth chart. And Damian Williams is not good, but Tyler Algier is really not good. Like, this guy's going to barely make the team. He's like the 3rd string running back on a team that can't run. So that's going to be a waste of roster space. You're not going to start him, and he's just going to sit on your bench for a long time and not do anything. Team 1 gets a grade C. Next team. Here's a team at first glance that doesn't look too bad as far as how they drafted the first 4 rounds. But then we really see where it fell off, where they weren't thinking big picture. Should have probably got an RB at maybe the 3rd round or something like that. They didn't sense that RBs were going to be gone just like that. They probably thought a really good RB was going to fall to 4.11. They didn't, and they have no RB depth. Like, what's going to happen here if Christian McCaffrey misses some games? Oh, you have Chuba Hubbard. Well, he's probably not even the handcuff. It's probably D'Onta Foreman. So the team's not that bad. Like, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Zach Ertz at a great price. It seems balanced, but the lack of RBs, like, if everything goes right, you'll be good. Like, Jacobs will get a decent amount of carries, score some touchdowns, you'll be okay. Singletary and Ronald Jones, good value picks. But like, everything's got to go right, though. Like, Singletary might not work out. Jacobs might not work out. Rojo might not work out, right? So you're with all these mights and might nots, and then you got Christian McCaffrey, who the fantasy community's really torn on. I think he's worth the 2nd overall pick, but you got to you got to go a little bit more robust RB. You got to have some kind of plan there. Like I said, Chuba Hubbard, I don't think he's the handcuff. I think it's D'Onta Foreman or a mix of both. So Chuba Hubbard's probably more of a waste of roster space, if anything. Team 2 gets a grade C. Next team. I hate this team. I don't even know what's the starting lineup for the first week. You drafted everyone at their peak, like Austin Ekeler, 3rd overall. That's the best he can do. Deebo Samuel, I'm a fan of his, like, as a player. I love watching him play, but kind of drafted him at his peak at 2.10. Probably not going to score that many touchdowns. I mean, Mark Andrews is good, but might mess up the rest of your team, right? So now you're starting Antonio Gibson, Ken Walker at 6.10. That's not a bad spot to draft him, but Rashad Penny's probably going to start the first week and probably at least a few weeks more. So you're probably not going to start Ken Walker the first week. So the team is whatever, but just has no upside, no pop. Won't be able to win in the playoffs. Won't be able to go far. Probably won't make playoffs. I'm betting Team 3 will not make playoffs. Team 3 gets a grade D-. Team 4. This is the first team that I don't dislike. I think it's a good team. They did very well. I would have liked to see a little bit more pop. maybe go wide receiver in round 2, even though it seemed pretty risky there going with a guy like Mike Evans. I think that would have been best in hindsight, but that's really the only other thing I would do. The team looks good, went robust RB, it worked. They have wide receivers, they didn't reach for a quarterback or tight end. Dallas Goedert doesn't have a ton of upside, but he's a good safe pick, didn't get him too bad of a value. And then you got one of my favorite players right there, Russell Gage at 9.04, so kudos to this team. Team 4 gets a grade B. Next team. Team 5, one of my favorite competitors in fantasy football, Ari. Man, you guys did great the first 5, maybe 6 rounds, but then just ended up being a scared pussycat. Melvin Gordon in round 7. If it was me, I would have just waited for round 8 and risked it if I wanted Melvin Gordon. He often falls. And then it's just, you know, Allen Lazard and Cole Kmet. He's going to get a ton of targets, but he sucks. There's not a lot of upside. I don't think he's going to have a lot of touchdowns. Then you wait on quarterback. You got 2 okay ones, but I just thought it was unnecessary. Maybe could have drafted a quarterback instead of Allen Lazard, maybe. Grade C for Team 5. On to the next team. Team 6 did a great job. Really only 2 small complaints here. I wouldn't have went T. Higgins in round 3. That one I would have drafted somebody else. And then Miles Sanders. I would have took Eli Mitchell over Miles Sanders, although it is close. Other than that, this team's pretty good. I'm going to give Team 6 a grade B-. Team 7, all right, you got some really good running backs. Didn't cuff them. That probably would have been a good move, but I do not like the wide receivers. So I like the running backs. Love that you got Matthew Stafford at a great value, 10.06. He's going to ball out in this league. This league rewards extra fantasy points for passing yards a little bit, but that's going to help. So love the running backs. Should have handcuffed them. Don't like the wide receivers. Sorry. This team is good, but not great. Team 7 gets a grade C. Next team. This team is decent, but I have to dock you for something. You guys drafted Kittle. Kyle Pitts is better. Also, you took 3 quarterbacks. I know Blake Bortles is a joke, but still, you take 3 QBs in a 1 QB lead. I gotta dock you. Other than the Kittle thing, your first 7 picks were really good. After that, is just really nobody that I like or would be looking forward to starting. Like, oh, you can say Irv Smith, round 14. That's great. But you kind of reached on George Kittle. So when would you ever start Irv Smith? The one game you start Irv Smith when Kittle's not doing well, Kittle balls out and makes you feel stupid. So kind of Irv Smith, wasted pick. A lot of the picks after round 7, kind of a wasted pick, or you don't know when to start them. And Blake Bortles, obviously, a wasted pick. It's still not a horrible team. I'm going to give Team 8 a grade C. Hey, I'm keeping it real this video. A grade C is not bad. Grade C means average. Grade C could make playoffs. But now, we are up with one of the worst teams. This is actually a bad team. We're at the first bad team. We let 2 people in the league that aren't fantasy analysts, and this is what happens with the first one I'm reviewing. Team 9, this is the prototypical way on how not to draft, okay? So you went Darren Waller over Kyle Pitts, right? So it was Darren Waller went 4.04, then Kittle, and then Pitts. Gotta dock you big time for that, right? You reach for a quarterback, you reach for a tight end. That's not even the best tight end. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is your RB2. CEH, more like MEH, right? James Robinson, that's a total waste of a pick. By the time he'll be ready, it'll be close to fantasy playoffs. You'll be out of contention. When he is ready, he's coming off an Achilles. Like, he's not going to be 100%. That's even if he comes back this year. So there you have it, a waste of roster space. Good thing for you, there is one IR spot, but that's 100% going to be filled up with James Robinson. So hopefully no other player on your team gets hurt. And then you got Raheem Mostert. Okay, that's great value, round 12. When are you going to start him? Like, you're going to know when to start him? With that Miami Dolphins, they have 7 running backs on the team. How are you going to know when to start Raheem Mostert? Obviously, the most durable running back. You know, he doesn't get hurt like in 2 seconds. Team 9 gets a grade F. Here's our team, Team 10. Now, this is the prototypical way on how you should draft. There's going to be some discrepancies with those watching the video on the players we drafted, but I think the big picture, this is how you attack a draft. So absolutely love it. I wanted Aaron Jones in round 2, but the community was set on Stefon Diggs, and I ended up getting on board. And that was the better decision. Because we went Stefon Diggs, I trust my community. They're smart. I love the input they provide. We were much more flexible. We weren't pigeonholed. We weren't desperate to go one direction or another. And RBs flew off the board, but we were still able to get at least a solid one in David Montgomery at 310. So we're very flexible, very balanced, and very disciplined. What happened in round 5 is we got sniped pretty much 8 picks in a row. So we decided to pivot and go with Chris Godwin, a guy who can miss 6 games. Now keep in mind, right? He's coming off the ACL. You know, everyone's saying he's going to miss 6 games. He might miss 4. He might miss less than that. He might miss 0. So we don't know for sure. But we knew we had to draft some wide receivers that we can start week 1 because we have to just expect Chris Godwin to miss, let's say, the first 4 games, maybe 6 games. We drafted him. We waited on Dalton Schultz. He fell. We got him at 6.03. We got an absolute steal, Cordell Patterson. I really want you guys to concentrate on these rounds right here, like 6 through 11, okay? That's where I think the team really separates from the other squads. Dalton Schultz, 6.03. We got our tight end. It wasn't a reach, and he didn't fall to us or anything, but we really wanted to get Dalton Schultz. If not, maybe Zach Ertz later, but if you missed on him and it's kind of wishy-washy, we got our guy. Cordell Patterson fell to 7.10. Love that. We got another running back. Treylon Burks, we wanted him at 7.10. We waited. We rolled the dice. He fell a few more spots. We got him at 8.03. And then, oh boy, talk about upside. Talk about value. Christian Watson at 9.10. I know Team 12 really wanted him, but no, we got him. And then Tom Brady, the GOAT, who's being slept on again in a league that rewards passing yards. We got Tom Brady at 10.03. Even if we didn't get him, we would have got Stafford. That would have been great as well. And then another sleeper, Nyheim Hines with Matt Ryan there. It's full PPR, baby. He's going to be worth it. We got him at like the 46th running back off the board or something like that. I don't know, 48th, 47th, something like that. I'm pretty sure he's going to finish way better than the 46th running back in fantasy football. After Nyheim Hines, you can argue any which way, but I like it. We went Khalil Herbert, secured our handcuff. Hassan Haskins got someone else's handcuff. I think if Derrick Henry misses just 1 game, that pick's going to work out for us. Hassan Haskins should be the handcuff in Tennessee. And then we went with Corey Davis and Paris Campbell. Now, I love the Paris Campbell pick because everyone will probably make fun of him. He's never done anything. I mean, we did this same pick a few years ago with Devontae Parker. Everyone made fun of him. He never stayed healthy. He always sucks. And then he ended up balling out that year and having a great year. And with Paris Campbell, look, he may not ball out, but with Matt Ryan there, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be good. And look, if not, we drop them fast. I love players in round 15, 14, 16 that you can drop and you won't shed a tear. And that is Paris Campbell. We will not shed a tear. We will drop him in 0.01 seconds if he's injured or if he ends up being like the wide receiver 4 on that team. But I think he might be the number 2 most targeted player on the Colts. Just stay healthy, Campbell. And then we got the post-hype sleeper, Robert Tonyan. I love the squad. Love the way we attacked it. We won the league a couple years ago in 2020, and we hope to win it again. I'm going to give our team a grade A. Next team. Team 11. Not bad. Not good. Pretty boring, though. A lot of just decent players. This is like vanilla ice cream. I don't even like reviewing this team. It's just boring. Grade C. Moving on to Team 12. This is the second team that doesn't do fantasy football advice and doesn't do fantasy full time. And it really shows. They didn't know what they were doing. And what's crazy is everyone thought this team would be complete homers and draft Green Bay Packers. They didn't. But they should have. It would have resulted in a much better team if they went, let's say, Aaron Jones in the second round. But no, they went wide receiver, an ex-Packer, and then they went Travis Kelce, and then they really underestimated what was going on. Round 3, they went Mr. Achilles. That's their RB1. They were the first team to draft a backup running back, and it was A.J. Dillon, the only Packer on their team. They drafted A.J. Dillon, and that's their RB2. They were really lucky to get Rashad Penny. I think that was a great pick, and hopefully he starts for them and he's healthy. But oh boy, this team is hanging on by a thread. You barely have a starting roster. Who's your wide receiver 3? Gallup is projected to miss the beginning of the season. Jameson Williams is projected to miss the beginning of the season. So I guess you're starting Jarvis Landry or Devontae Parker. I mean, that's really bad. Dude, you drafted 2 wide receivers back to back that aren't playing, and you seem pretty desperate for starting flex players. But whatever, like, this is just not how to draft. We don't like it. It's a complete mess. Just wasn't thinking big picture. Grade F. Well, guys, let's take a look at the complete draft board. There you have it. This was the Fantasy Football Throne League where the followers make all the decisions. It's super fun. My community gets super hyped for it, and I have some great news. If you missed out on this one, I will be doing something similar for Dynasty. I'm going to join a $250 Dynasty League. All right, so I'm putting my money up. I'm going to join a $250 Dynasty League, but you guys are going to draft the players for me. We're going to do it on the Couch Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, leave a comment, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. I'll get you in the private Discord. We're going to vote on every single pick for that startup Dynasty team. Hopefully you guys do right by me and we have a great draft. I trust you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, you guys draft the Dynasty team for me. So hit me up. Get in the Discord. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. We also have a second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Make sure you're following all 13 accounts, including the Fantasy Football Throne League on Instagram. Follow us all, show some support, show some love, smash that thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next video.